G'day folks, welcome back to Stuff and Such. Today's not a really good video. So we're about 10 days or so, or 2 weeks I think maybe. Picked it up 2 weeks ago and put it together maybe 10 days ago. But I've had this thing. If you've been following the past videos, you'll note that there's been some troubles going on with it. It's lack of feedability, it's breaking of shear bolts constantly, and so on and so forth. So, up to date where we are now, Woodland has shipped me a slip clutch PTO shaft, which in my opinion should be a standard piece of equipment with this thing. It's way more robust. It makes it way easier to power through the bigger stuff. However, it may still have a problem, but it's whatever the problem may be, it's way out of my hands. And I don't know what else to even check on it, and I don't feel like checking anything else on it much. I'm getting kind of fed up with it. Having spent a fair bit of money on this thing, having spent a fair bit of money buying the thing to then go and spend a fair bit of money trying to figure out its problems. It's getting kind of frustrating. So with the upgraded PTO shaft, I was able to chip 5-6 inch oaks. It definitely was working the dickens out of it, but basically just doing what I was told I could do anyway. So when I purchased it, before I purchased it I called service sales reps and I asked them outright that I would like to be able to chip an 8-inch oak. Would it do it for me? And they said yes. So obviously by sticking a 5-inch oak is significantly less of an ask than an 8-inch. Besides the point, I don't know what else to check in terms of why it seems like it doesn't smoothly operate or smoothly chip. I don't know what further to do beyond with the hydraulic side. But anyways, where we're currently at is that during my last operation of using it, I was chipping, I wish I brought it down out of the bush, but it was I don't know, about that big of a maple tree, so about 4.5 inch. And it was working pretty hard doing it. And anyways, it blew up a chipper blade and got it in my pocket. So that's what it looks like now. It grenaded the thing right down the center. Unfortunately, it didn't just grenade and then spit out, and I haven't actually opened it up. We're going to open it up together. So the way the blades work is that it cuts with the bevel in that direction on the log, so it's always kind of biting into the log, pulling it in. It caught the log, broke off, and then lodged right into the face of the tree. And then now the tree had a big chunk of chipper blade embedded in it, being fed into the flywheel. So the flywheel in this thing could be screwed. I don't know, we'll find out. Yeah, enough of this yapping. Let's take a peek. So I loosened the bolt off just so we can get into this thing quick. I have a feeling it's not going to be a pretty sight in here. So the blades are definitely frigged on one edge. So let's get to the one that's broken out. So we didn't actually lose an entire blade. I thought I lost an entire blade. So that's what we're currently missing. One chunk. It's probably still sitting on the bottom, or maybe got flung out. I'll have to check the anvil, but it's probably completely dickered too. So not as bad as I thought it was gonna be. It's not great, but I still will need a new set of blades, because every one of them's completely done on one edge. So they didn't come loose. Sure made a mess. I do kind of wonder if it might be getting time that this thing goes back to Woodland. I don't know how I'm gonna manage to spend the next, I don't know how many years trying to use this thing, if this is going to be what I'm constantly dealing with. Sure busted weird. A bunch of them do have good sides on them, but I think I'll show you when I get this one out what I'm thinking. As you can kind of tell, that it certainly would be nice to have half the number of blades like the WC88 for something exactly like this, that if it decides to grenade, well, you now have half the repair bill. See, this is why I would never put another one back in. Can you see that hairline crack? Where are we? It runs all the way from here around the hole. So because they have so much shock, you'd never put those back in there, because if one chunk falls back out, it then takes all the rest of the teeth out. I had wondered if one of the blades had come loose, but as you saw when I was taking that one off, it was definitely tight. It's kind of interesting having, it's kind of funny that it didn't break entirely off, so you kind of have a bit of evidence that it still is torqued tight, just a matter of it broke and then the bolts came flying out. It'll be interesting to see how Woodland responds to this. I'd halfways wonder if they would want to get it back and do some testing on it and some specs. But if within 20, I think about 20 hours I got on my tractor clock now of using this thing, because I've been, like I say, I bought this thing to use it, So I put on quite a few hours in the past 10 days that I've had it running. If in 20 hours I'm blowing up blades, well, even if they do send me blades on warranty every time it blows blades, it's going to be not very long before it gets kind of expensive for them. And I can't imagine they'll be too interested in doing that. So I imagine they'd want to get this thing figured out. It'd be nice to get the specs. I asked for the drawings of the flywheel. It'd be nice to see the specs on and how deep this is supposed to be, and at what angle, what the tolerances on that is. Because if this isn't finished at the right depth, this chipper blade bed, if it's out 50 thou more, that means it's taking an extra 50 thou cut, which I was told that it's supposed to be about a 1/4 inch outset. So if the angle of that is off, or if the depth of this bed is off, well, that's very important on how hard it's going to try chipping. One cool idea that would be, if they wanted to do it, is if they made it so that you could, if you could adjust how aggressive you'd like it to bite, either through another bed seat, or you could use half the blades and then just swap to a different position. That'd be kind of cool. Then you could, like, if you're saying, okay, I'm mostly in hardwood, I'm going to take the time and switch it over to a less aggressive chip design or chip profile. That'd be kind of cool. Look at the just completely screwed, rattled around there and broke them up. And the thing is, you can't really trust that you could even resharpen them, because after having impact like that, it's highly likely they're fractured at the molecule level. Hardened blades like this, they're pretty brittle. I am a bit surprised that they took as much impact as they did from that getting hit. It's really a bummer. Really a bummer that this isn't working out. I was hoping to hire out this machine, that I'd be able to get on cleanup contracts, or when big storms come through like there is going to be tonight, but people will have a bunch of downed trees that want to get them cleaned up, and that they would give me a shout. But it's looking like, at the current moment, the business idea is going to be a flop. But you can tell, like, it's hitting hard. Whether this was from, I imagine it probably was from hitting the chip. But you can see around right there underneath, it's actually starting to fracture around the bolt hole. Whether it's from hitting the metal chunk, or whether it's from the way it's operating, causing that much stress on the blade, I don't know. It's a bit of a peculiar case on, Like, obviously there's a manufacturing defect, but I don't know if it's from the heat treat process that caused that blade to be brittle, and then which caused it then to fracture, which then caused it to take out all these parts and pieces on the flywheel, or if there's a manufacturer defect in, say, like the hydraulic. Ugh. I wouldn't really say that it was experiencing anything exceedingly challenging on this particular instant that it broke. Like, I was doing bigger stuff before, and it wasn't overly different, but it could have been work stressed in the past. So I don't know if it's, you'd say, like a manufacturing defect from before the hydraulic spool motor was feeding it too fast aggressively, and that's why it broke the blades. I don't know what you'd say the main root cause of it is. So there's the blades as they currently sit. Chunks missing out of them. From here, I don't really know what to add to this video. What more I can say about it other than we're kind of at just a impasse of what's going to happen. I haven't heard back from Woodland yet. I reached out to them by email about 6 hours ago now, which isn't a huge pile of time, but it's a period of time. So yeah, I wish I had more to share with you, and I will in the future, but for now, this is where we sit. Broken hearted, paid my dime and only farted. Anyways, bye for now.